All right, I believe we are live and direct. Um, I usually try to see if I can get on to monitor the live, but I'm gonna assume that we're live because usually my intro beat is so long. Making sure I can check if we're live. But today we're going to talk all about the Keepforest plugins. I'm going to show you how I use it in the sync space and really more in the trailer space. Keepforest is an incredible company that makes really high-end libraries. So we're going to talk about the plugins I have, including the ones you see here. Some of them are free that you see that here, but there's a little caveat with using the free instruments. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. But before we get into all that, be sure to check out the description because in the description I will include links to the Keepforest plugins that you can get. I mainly, if I do purchase them, I mainly get them from the Plugin Boutique website because when you purchase plugins from that website, you often get a freebie of the month that you can also add to your purchase. And then it also accumulates points that you can use to purchase other plugins in the future. So I do prefer to buy plugins from the Plugin Boutique site. And also, one other thing to note is that I have some other links in the description. This is a podcast episode of Syncrets To Success, and this episode is sponsored by ASTS. They provide some great plugins for us music creators and sounds for us music creators to use in our music compositions and production. So you can check out a discount for their website also in the link in the description below. And then you can check out my Facebook website, Facebook group called Syncrets To Success, which is a group where we talk all about sync licensing and trailer music. We just passed the 2,000 member mark, so I'll be doing something special for that community over the next few weeks in recognition of the 2,000 member mark. So definitely check out the description. So let's get into Keepforest. This is an incredible company that I've found over the last few years. They make some incredible libraries. Some, like I said, some free editions of their higher end libraries, but these are great for music production, for trailer music, for epic cinematic music. So we're going to dive in. I'm going to go with the ones I have here, and then I also have some ones that aren't really in the contact they don't show up in the contact browser on the left here, so I have to either drag and drop them or I can load them up in the library view. But let's just go with, we're just going to go in order here. So Berserkr, this is, and I do have more of a longer form review of these plugins. Some of them I have on the Samplers channel, some of them I have on my own YouTube channel here. So, but let's get into the Berserkr, and you can watch some great reviews also of these plugins on some of those. I'm trying to see if I can see the chat. If you are watching live, you want to drop a chat message. I don't know if I can see the chat here. So if you are messaging, thank you. I just don't think I can see the chat. Let me see if I can get to my window here. So I'm going to get right into showing the Berserkr. I'm just going to drag in, again, I'm not going to do a full review of all these sounds and stuff, but I'm going to drag in what you do get with Berserkr is you get all these different categories: drums, foundation, weapons, whoosh, breaths, growls, tonal elements, core, user import, where you can import your own things and use the browser for that. I usually just dive into the elements and into the multi-kits. So I'm going to show you how I use this. So I would just go into like a multi-kit and I would load up one of these presets here. Again, these are powerful plugins. There's literally videos that go 2+ hours that go into how do you use these plugins. So I can't do that here. But I load this up. I usually go into the KSP. So let me just show you what this sounds like. I'm gonna play a note. And just off the break, you have a great loop, and it does match the tempo of your session. What I like to do is, because anyone who has this plugin can just load that up and use that same sound, I like to go into the advanced or normal options and just do new idea. And just out the break, you have some great percussive sort of under tones of percussion there. If I go to foundation, you might get more of like the kick stuff. Let's see. So really great for like EDM, electronic type sounds, also percussive. I'm going to go to normal here and then again do new idea. Again, I have a review on the samplers page where I go over all these settings here. So it can be hit or miss. I'm going to do one more. Let's go to punk folk. And again, I normally use these different multi-kits because it just builds a loop for you. And it's really almost plug and play. I'm going to play this out the box. That's dope. You hear how aggressive it is. And let's say I want to switch it up a little bit because anyone can use that as is. So then it gets kind of crazy, but then I can keep hitting like new idea 1 or 2. I can vary the shift. I can vary the pitches. Again, I have a review on the Samplist YouTube page where you can check this out. And if needed, I can go into each of these elements and also adjust the settings for each. If I were to clear this out, let me go to, actually, let's go to File, and we'll do Reset. I don't want the library. And then you can load up individual instruments. I'm not going to load all these up, but let's say I just want to do some weapon strikes short. I can load that up, and then I can adjust the parameters just for that setting as is. And if you want to see the keyboard, and I can build and program my own. So a bunch of metals and stuff, but it's very powerful plugin. Again, watch the reviews I have on some of the other pages. All right, so let's go to, that's Berserkr. Again, a very powerful instrument. I don't have time to dive in fully on what Berserkr can do. Let's go to the Devastator Breakout Pro. I have a review of Devastator on my page here on YouTube. Devastator Breakout Pro is an incredible instrument plugin where you get all these different percussive sounds. You have, well, hits, drums, bass, and brahms, a lot of trailer music sounds, benders, signatures, signals, alarms, resonances, slow motions, reverse effects, tick-tocks, pulses, tonal loops, playables. And again, you can have the Breakout Pro. You can also drag and drop your own instruments in there, and drag and drop your own sounds in there. I have a review of this on my YouTube page where I go over all these different sounds, so I'm not going to go over that right now. Let us load up the Breakout Pro here, and I'm going to show you what you can do with this side of things, which is like crazy. Usually I just hit randomize. It might show a pop-up, and I'll say, please don't ask again, and I'll just hit one note. And just like that, you have a great intro to like a trailer track. I'm gonna hit randomize again. That's insane. You know what? I actually haven't used this side of a Breakout Pro in a long time. So now getting back into it, yeah, I'm gonna be using this again shortly. I'm gonna hit randomize one more time. Let's see what loads up. And you can see all the 8 layers you have here. You can adjust them. You can add and drop some out. You can change them out. So that is very powerful just from the Breakout Pro there. Again, you have all these different layers. I go into these in my YouTube breakdown. I can load in my own user samples. The ones I tend to use a lot, of course, are the hits, the drums, bass, and brahms, benders, signatures sometimes. I don't really use resonances a lot. I need to go back into resonances and see what's in there. Let's just play signature resonations and see what's in here. Yeah, so you get like EDM. Yeah, so you get a lot of those sounds there. Again, I don't really dive into resonances. I need to use a lot of these sounds that I don't use because I usually just go in and I find what I need and I get in and get out, pause. But TikToks, again, I would use something else now for TikToks, but I'm going to show that shortly. I might get in here and use pulses. So yeah, you have Devastator Breakout Pro, Devastator Breakout Pro there. Let me close that out. Then you have another, there's actually a couple in the Devastator series. There's a free one called Devastator Warzone. I also think there's another free one that I don't have in the Devastator series. The thing about the free editions, as I mentioned earlier, for Warzone, Ferrum, if you see any of the free editions of the Keepforest instruments, is that according to their written out rules, you cannot use the free versions of their plugins on things that will be commercially released or monetized. So that means if I want to use this sound and release it on a trailer track and it gets placed on a trailer, I technically couldn't have released that. So I know some people say that they do it anyway, and then when something lands with that sound on there, then they just purchase the full version. Talk to Keepforest about that, but according to what's written down in their agreements, you cannot use this on commercial stuff. So but I'm going to dive in because the stuff is really great. It's a good way to get sort of your feet wet. Maybe you're trying to learn some things about trailer space or just figure out how you could use these sounds. And then eventually, if you want to upgrade to the full version, you can do that. So again, this looks very familiar to Devastator Breakout Pro. Warzone, this series came out first. So there's a couple in the Evolution Devastator series. These are just trailer hits. And you can adjust, if you're not familiar with Keepforest, you can adjust. This will be the tone of the instrument. So if I play this C, and if I bring it down here, Hopefully you can hear that it's darker. You'll really hear it on a more tonal instrument. These are just hits. There are some snapshots that you can use there. Again, I won't do a full contact instrument overview of these sounds. Wild screams, I do like these. I believe there's some of these in the Devastator Breakout Pro version also. Looks like my contact might have blew up in my face. We'll see if we can get that back open. You know what? We'll go back to, I'll just create a new instrument and I will open up contact 7 and I will close this. So that's giving us problems. Keepforest. And let's see if that opens back up. So you also see, like, sometimes you run into issues. It's like, oh, this isn't working. This is working. We're going to type in Keepforest. This is my system. It's not anything to do with the Keepforest thing. We were in Devastator. I do like some of the wild screams. Again, this is great because not only if you do decide to use something like this, but you want to do a commercial project with it, it can give you ideas. So for example, these wild screams, if I play one of these notes here, it's like, okay, I can't use that in a commercial recording, but I want to commercially release a project. So let me just record my own scream, and this can give you inspiration of how you can create your own sound. So you have all those screams, but instead of using this, because you can't technically use it because it's the free version, record your own screams, get your family involved, record them screaming, and just put some effects on there. Next thing you know, you have your own sort of kit of screams. So that's a great way to use some of these. Then you have downers and tonal loops and stuff. That is the free edition of that, but definitely get in there, dive in. You can learn more about the UI, how things are set up, watch some YouTube reviews. We're going to load up this other free edition called Devastator Ferrum free edition. They also have Ferrum full, but this is the Ferrum free edition. A great way to just have some percussive hits and things. I like to use, that's like the boom. Let me show the keyboard. So you have that. A lot of like metal. It's very powerful, like powerful hits. And then what's great about this is you can go in here and I can go into rhythm. I can just say randomize and I can turn on different rhythm. Actually, we'll do, okay. And if I'm holding the key down, so it's building rhythms. Let me do something a little bit faster. There we go. It's almost like a, I don't want to say machine gun, but yeah. So you can build patterns. Again, there's videos that go over how you can set all this up. You can build your own patterns, but then they also have a bunch of presets in here you can use. So if I like to just hit the randomize button until I find something. Yeah, so a bunch of crazy stuff there happening and going on. So that is Ferrum free edition. Let's go back here into contact. I actually just closed it out. I should have left it open. And as you can see, it takes a while for my contact to open up. Again, that's just on my system. I'm going to go back to rack view. So that is Ferrum free. We're going to look up Keepforest again. Again, dive into Ferrum free and then see what you can do with that and then get into the full version if you can. Then finally, not finally, because there's actually more I'm going to show that aren't actually in the library. Like I mentioned, they don't show up in the rack view. We have Watchkeeper. So this is if you remember, if I go back to Devastator here, we had the TikToks, which has some great things there. But if you want to do like TikToking on, not the social media platform, but if you want to have TikToks and clocks on like steroids, you want to get Watchkeeper. This thing is insane. I'm just going to show you some of these multis because that's what I usually dive in with and open up. Similar to when you saw me open up the Devastator Pro or the Berserkr multis. I get in here, load something up. And you just hear how powerful it is just out the break. Of course, I don't like to use it as is because other people can use it as is. Sometimes I delete some of the sounds if I don't need them or if they're in the wrong key. If I hit no idea here, and then I can go in and tweak each individual element. Let me load up another one. Let's go to, this is under the Action Military. Let's go to Cyber Tribal, which is a great name. Mechamorph. mean, that's just insane. Just that's a whole cue in itself. So the new idea is almost like a randomization button. I like randomized options in plugins. So knowing what all these buttons do definitely can take you a long way in these plugins. All right, yeah, that's insane. Let's go to Driven Countdowns, Digital Dynamo. That is insane. Yeah, I don't want to show too much, but there's a lot in here. And again, like I said, these are premium plugins. The price will tell you that they are premium, but the multis are incredible. You have the artist stems, you have sound design, you have tones. Then you have individual instruments. I can also import my own instruments and use the player to show all of that. If I go to File, Reset Multi, to reset this to 0, and I'm going to go into the designed instruments, and I can just go to like typical clock. Let's go to Modern, Mix Clock, and what I like is the UI. I have a review of this on the Samplist YouTube page where you can see how I dive into some of the settings here. But when I hit each note, if I play I'm playing the same note. I think I'm playing the G or the A. I'm playing the A, but every time I hit a note, you see the clock turns, which is like really great. And the UI, the plugin, it's incredible. Just the way they build these things out is insane. So shout out to Keepforest. Let's go back. I think that was all that I had for the ones that show up here in the rack view of Contact. Let me jump over to my Keepforest window here, and as you can see, I have some other things that didn't show up on the left, so we're going to go over those. We have this free tri-pack, which I believe you also get the WAV files of a lot of these plugins in addition to the Contact instrument itself. So we have Aizer X, which is so you'll see that the UI is very similar. This is an older plugin, so it's very similar to what you see in Devastator Breakout Pro and the Devastator series. And again, it's just a great way to build out risers. So I'm going to hit this. Let me find a key I can play. Single view. I got to go. So it's just a very powerful hit. The plugin, even though this one's a little dated, but it still looks like pretty decent. And of course, it sounds great. Again, a great way to sort of develop an ear for those sounds, how sounds should sound. And it looks like it's building in a loop and a pulse there. So that's dope. We also have pulses. I'm going to load up the pulses one. And again, you can dive in more on these. This is the free version of the Aizer X series. Let's see what these pulses sound like. Let me go down. Ooh, yeah, I need to save that. See, are there any no snapshots? But yeah, just alone these pulses. And again, you can randomize things. I believe in the full version you have more options there. But this alone can give you a long way, take you a long way. And then you have the samples in there that you can drag and drop as needed. Actually, not these. These aren't WAV files, so you can't drag and drop those samples. These are only for Contact instruments. But that is a try series. We already did Breakout Pro. We have Evolution Atlantica. Let me load that one up. Let me find the instruments. So you have a bunch of instruments here. I really like, this is like my go-to low brass. I layer this with other brass sounds, but I'm just gonna play the note. It's like my go-to. I usually don't even tweak the settings on this one. I can add some more, I think, distortion. But yeah, that's like my go-to low brass sound. We have Inception Brahms. So this is the sound that, you know, Hans Zimmer sort of ushered in with the whole Inception film. Very powerful hits there. Again, I'm not going to dive into all of these. I forgot about double doom guitar. So I hate doing these because, like, man, I forgot there was a guitar in there. I used to use this a lot, but now I got to remember that. I gotta remember that. So I gotta make sure I go back in here and save all these as Logic presets. But there's so much more in there. Again, I'm not gonna dive in on all of those. But you do have all those instruments that you can load up. And I got this at a good deal. I think it was also from Plugin Boutique years ago, where I got Evolution Atlantica and Evolution Dragon, which we'll show next. I think I got them both for under $50. Don't quote me on that, but they're worth the price you can get. So I'm going to go to Evolution Dragon here. The Brahms, I'm going to load that up. You see the Eye of Sauron? Is that him? Again, these sounds are incredible. Let's go to some downers. And I use a lot of these sounds. I tend to use the wave files for downers and things. Let's go to risers. I'm only going to play a couple of these, and I shouldn't be even playing this many. And what's great about these plugins is you can adjust where the sample starts, the attack, the case, sustain, release. You see all the settings here. I can add some effects if needed. With risers, again, even if I record the MIDI, I tend to turn them to audio so that I can affect the audio a little bit more and line it up better in the session I'm using. I will play a couple more of these because they're just dope. Let's find the note. Just like a Brahm Bender. Let's go to Whoosh Hits. Of course, I use these a lot. So some great hits and sounds there. So yeah, we're done with Evolution Dragon, but again, some great stuff. And I showed you Ferrum Free. I showed you Devastator Breakout Pro. So last but not least, again, this is a weird one because it's not really trailer. It's not really the sound effects type thing. It's more like the synth side of things. So let's see if that loads up. So this is like a synth thing. The Syrinx sample CS15D, and you can basically choose the sounds you want. So let me go to, let's say I want like the flute, and you can layer in different layers here. You can adjust what channel, the brilliance of the channels. You can adjust the mix. So if I just focus on channel 1, it's actually a cool sound. But I can layer sort of channel 1, channel 2. I can have a mix option here. So let's say I want channel 2 to be the brass and channel 1 to be more of the harpsichord. Then I can add some reverb. Again, you can build and design your own sounds. There's a sequencer in there. I rarely use a sequencer, but let's see if I can make something fun happen. Again, you can have a lot of fun there with those settings. So, yeah. And really polyrhythmic. I believe, let me make sure, I believe that is all I have as far as the Keepforest plugins. If I were to choose a favorite, I mean, I use Berserkr and Watchkeeper a lot. I use Ferrum a lot also, not the free one, the paid one. And then Breakout Pro, I use this one probably, I would say Berserkr, Breakout Pro, Watchkeeper the most. I use them all, but the Breakout Pro is sort of, I think, the Berserkr and Watchkeeper are sort of the newest ones, but as far as ones that you can see are designed and implemented from previous versions, the Breakout Pro sort of puts all of what they've learned over the years all into one system. So if I were to choose one for you to get right now, if you were to purchase one today, I would say go with Devastator Breakout Pro. You can get the Core Edition, which is cheaper, but I would go with Breakout Pro if you can put that in your budget. And Speaking of budget, I believe there is a sale going on right now, only for 3 more days. So maybe not the best time for me to post this video, but be on the lookout for other sales. Maybe there'll be a Black Friday sale later this year. If I go to the website, again, I prefer to purchase from Plugin Boutique. Of course, you can get an ultimate bundle. See what's in the bundle. You can get a bundle for under 1,500. You can get Aizer X, which I showed the free version of that for 179. Atlantica, that's 119, and you can see the discount price right now. Devastator. So I showed you some of these. There's Deathmatch. I don't have Deathmatch or regular Devastator. There's the Ferrum. There's a free version of this also, but you can get that for 209. So you can go to Plugin Boutique. I will include a link in the website in the description below where you can check out all these. Some things I don't have. I don't have Ryzenj, but you can see how that is very akin to Aizer X. So you can see once you learn one of these plugins, you pretty much know the aesthetic for their plugins. I don't have Hybrid Punk Folk. I did consider purchasing this a while ago. I just didn't I didn't make the purchase, but Metal Cinematic, a lot like I said, some of these are implemented in some of the later plugins, but if you just want to have those, and there's some where you can just get, like, let's say you just want to get the sounds, you can get the metal hits for $9, which, is a great deal. I think there's another one for under $10. Aizer X, there's that one that I showed. There's a free version of that. And then make sure you understand what you're getting. It's like this one is trailer sound effects. This one is modern designer toolkit. Same toolkit, same price, but a little bit different. Then you have the classic trailer toolkit. You have the Aizer X bundle where you can get all of them for under $550. Berserkr Pro, again, that one is one of my go-to. Watchkeeper is one of my go-to ones. Yeah. And then if you want to compare, again, I prefer to purchase from Plugin Boutique, but you can go to the Keepforest site and you can see more. They also do sell some other plugin companies, developers on their site also. But if you want to just look for the Keepforest stuff, you can get the bundles, look at the bundles here if it's in your budget. You can look at the pricing here. Again, compare the sale price. If it says 0, that means there is a free version of that you can use just to try. I also have cinematic downfalls. I don't know if this is a plugin or if it's just a WAV files, but I do have those. Again, the metal hits. There's a free edition of Aizer X, or you can get the bundle. So yeah, definitely check out the site. But these are sounds that I use frequently in my sync and trailer stuff for sync licensing. So if you are going after these sync opportunities, there's something in my eye, it's crazy. If you're going after these sync opportunities, you want to make sure you are using some of the highest quality sounds in your music productions. And Keepforest is one of those companies that provides those high quality sounds for us to use in our music productions. And I enjoy using them. I use them in all my trailer stuff. And a lot of my Epic Cinematic hip hop stuff. Speaking of which, I'm going to work on putting together an Epic Cinematic webinar, hopefully later this week, and I'll provide information on how you can access and tune in live for that. So stay tuned for that. I've been talking about it for a few weeks. I just need to sit down and set it up and put it together. But shout out to Keepforest. What I didn't mention, which I should have mentioned, is that I do have some of these libraries as part of a review that I do for some of the companies that I work with. So some of these libraries were provided at no charge, and then some of them I had to pay for, and of course some of them are free. But again, with the free ones, just keep in mind, if you use a free edition, that you do not sell it or otherwise profit off of it commercially. If you do, I didn't say this, but if you do, just talk to Keepforest and be like, hey, I used a free version of this, but because I placed it on this big show and I got a couple extra $100, $1,000, I'm going to use that money to purchase the full version. Is that okay? But just be upfront with Keepforest. They're a great company. I can't imagine what they're going to do next. Like, they can literally just relax for the next year and just let us use what we have, because their sounds and instruments are incredible and insane. I don't even know where they could go next. Like, yeah, I couldn't even imagine. But I enjoy the stuff that they release. Shout out to Keepforest and the whole team over there. And shout out to you. Check out the other episodes of this podcast. This one wasn't really more on the business side. This is more on the, sounds to use for production side. Let me know if you want to find out more, if you want to see more episodes like this. I have some time today, so I might do some more episodes even today of just like this, of other plugin developers, and just diving in on the instruments I have, how I use them, and how you can use them in your productions. So again, if you were to look into one of these to get today, or the first one, you don't know anything about Keepforest, I would say if your budget can afford it, Devastator, Breakout Pro. The first one I did get was the I believe it was the Evolution Atlantica and Evolution Dragon. Again, I found a good deal years ago on both of those. I think I got both of those for under $50, which was a great deal, and I was able to dive in, and that was sort of my entryway. And then you have the free edition. So if you just need something, you want to just get your feet wet, check out the free stuff on their website, the Devastator Warzone free, check out the Ferrum free, and everything else that you can get for free on their site, and dive in. Actually, if you go to their site, you just click free, and you can see all the free stuff there. So the Warzone, the Hybrid Cyberpunk, the Ryzenj, the Aizer X, and the Ferrum. So check that out, and then get familiar with their UI and how things are working out. And then they have different editions of some of their plugins where you can get the Essentials, the Core Pro, And I believe there's a pathway where you can upgrade. Don't quote me on that, but yeah, check out all that. Shout out to Keepforest again. I'm going to end this video. Be sure to check out the description for all the links that you can check out these plugins, check out the Facebook group, Syncrets To Success, check out ASCS, the sponsor of this podcast. Check out all the links in the description, and I will see you in the next episode. All right. Peace.